Back in studio with Ty Plandowski to talk Lakeland Rustlers action that's coming up this weekend against the Keano College Huskies on the volleyball side. Basketball teams on the road to Fort McMurray, of course, if the weather is conducive for that kind of travel. It's a bit of a long trip. Women's basketball, the highest ranked team nationally of any of the Rustlers squads. They've continued off the momentum they had last year, winning bronze, finishing first in the North Division. But this first weekend, as we talked a little bit about earlier in the cast, could in fact be the deciding factor of who wins the division this year.
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably the biggest weekend for the women's Rustlers as they are playing Keano, who are tied with them for first place. Keano is very strong. They're a big physical team, which matches up with Lakeland, very similar. They gained the likes of Taylor Pipes. She'll be back and healthy, so that'll be very huge, and it'll really put a lot of depth into their team, which is something they really need because they were injury struck early in the year.
Yeah, certainly health is a big part of their success going into the second half. They had a couple of players playing hurt. Taylor was essentially reduced to either a 8th or 9th man off the bench and then not playing in some later weekends. Her adding certainly helps. So you also kind of need someone like an Angela Barron maybe to go off and get you a 15, 20-point game against a team like this.
Yeah, Ange will really need to step up. You've seen her step up. No problem for Ange to get those kind of points in a game. You've seen it a couple times early. You also look at Haley and Jaden Cook, the two Regina girls. They'll be very important this weekend with depth with Tori Dugan and getting them in, getting them the ball. They're both very quick, so that will really help the physical game for them.
Absolutely. And then the rest of the semester, it isn't exactly a breeze, but it does take a step down in terms of intensity. Men's basketball, they were swept by Keano in the first half. They do have a little bit more health this second half. They have a couple of new guys added to the lineup. How key would, I guess, an upset be for them, but also just trying to integrate new guys into the lineup?
Yeah, this weekend will be big for them. Keano is first in the men's basketball division too. So for them to go in, they had two really close games at Lakeland last semester. They came down to the wire. So for them to go in, get 1 point against the top team in the north for the ACAC will be very big. I think that'll give them a lot of momentum that they'll obviously feed off that guy. Though that team is full of a bunch of hungry guys who want to win. So if you give them that little taste of winning, I'm sure it'll go a long way, especially against a team like Keano.
And we saw Tay Holiday hanging around the team. PJ Gardner back helping out a little bit as a coach last week. But Tay Holiday missed the entire first half because of an injury. Any chance you think we see him later in the year?
He's healthy. He started practicing as of this week, but I'm not too sure that he'll be in the lineups as of quite yet. I think they'll want to save him his eligibility for next year as he is a fourth year.
Yeah, that's too bad, certainly when you have a couple other guys on the team playing in their fifth and final year. And we might as well start touch really quickly on the futsal teams. They'll be in action in some exhibition play coming up in the next month, preparing for when they host the futsal provincial championship in March. That's a big date, obviously.
Yeah, March 12th will be huge. That's when the Lakeland men open up, and along with the likes of the women. Men were silver last year, which it really is a testament to Kevin Wagner and what he's produced. They were a younger team this year on the soccer side, so for them to have as much talent as skill as they do is very impressive, and the coaching goes a long way with those guys, so it'll be very impressive.
And then lastly, a couple of other key dates to point out for the Rustlers this half.
Yeah, so this weekend we're doing a charity fundraiser for the food drive, so that'll be hosted by the Rustler volleyball teams. January 30th is our make some noise for mental health. That's huge. Mental health is a big thing that goes on within the colleges. So for Lakeland to have the opportunity to work with RBC and helping them create really a healthy environment for student athletes and students in general really is something that Lakeland wanted to get behind. Absolutely.
And then playoffs aren't until the end of February in terms of the volleyball and basketball teams.
Yeah, so they've got quite a ways to go. They want to try and stay healthy, but it'll be interesting. They got some of the top teams in all of Canada. Lethbridge is the #1 ranked men's team in Canada, along with the likes of a top 3 placing for the Kodiaks in volleyball. So it'll be tough. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, and most of those competitions as well in the southern part of the province, so maybe they'll get to enjoy slightly better weather than what we have enjoyed over the past couple of days.